Okay, thank you. Thank you for joining us to this conversation. My name is Alice Lopez. I'm an international student and I'm studying media communications at Humber College. And I'm here with two amazing people. I'm here with Naima Faroki. She's from Humber College too. She's professor here at Lakeshore at Humber from School of Media Studies and Information Technology. And from Denmark, we have also Jeanne Nissan, and she's senior lecturer from multimedia design in Business Academy of Horrors. So welcome you two, and thank you so much for joining us to this amazing conversation. So today we're going to talk about the summer course that we had here at Humber, and we're going to have again, and I'm so excited for it. So I would like to start with you, Jeanne. Bring us back to the beginning of this course. How this first idea came about?
Yeah.
How was it?
Well, it was in spring 2016, and we were so lucky here at the Business Academy that there was a delegation from Humber who were visiting different places in Europe, and they also decided to visit us. And I had a meeting with Gemma Richardson and Rebecca Fitzgerald from Humber College in terms of establishing different types of collaboration. So I brought a couple of ideas to the table, and they were pretty hooked on that one idea of establishing a summer course. So having students to meet during the summer from Canada and from Denmark to do a course together. So it started in that spring 2016, and then already 1 year after we had the first course up and running. So I think it was, I didn't know how it would be approached by Humber. I just, they were here. It was the first time that I met them. So I was really surprised that the amount of effort that they put into this idea from the beginning, and it's been really an amazing collaboration that we had ever since. So a good experience.
Yeah, and how was this experience of joining to Humber, and why it was important not to be just a project from Aarhus?
Yeah, so for us, we do a couple of summer schools with different schools around the world. And the whole idea of the summer school is kind of take the learning environment from out of the normal setting and into a different setting. So you get both the curricular experience, but you also get the social experience and the experience of being in another country and collaborating with students from around the world. And so it brings so much more to the table, and so much more energy and so much more experience for the people that are participating in the program. So without the internationalization, it just wouldn't be. So it's the whole core of everything in the summer course.
Yes. And now for you, how was this experience of how did you join to this idea, and when was it?
So first of all, thank you, Alice, for having me and Jen together talk about this amazing experience that we have had for 2 years. The way I joined the bandwagon was I was a new faculty at that time, a part-time faculty member in spring 2016, and I get this email which had about 16 or 17 professors in it, saying that we have this professor coming in from Denmark, and if we want, we can have her as our guest speaker in our class. And I was like, I'm getting this person. So I'm the first to reply. I think I replied within 5 minutes, and I got the confirmation the next day that she'd be coming to my class. I was very excited, and as soon as Jen came into my class and started speaking, it was just like this natural thing. It was like natural connection, and it was like, oh, this makes sense. This person is so fun, and it just was like we shared the same vibe. My students enjoyed the class, and then I think she talked about it to the international office, and I was called in a meeting there. So then the conversation started about how we can make this happen. The course was social media, I think, that you came in. So I think we just took it from there because it's a very trending topic. It's an interesting course. So we thought, okay, we got to make it work from there.
Yes. And can you describe how is this the social media summer course for us? how is this evolve, and what are the main points of it?
Mhm. Yeah, so we kind of knew from the beginning that we wanted to focus on social media because, as Naima said, it's trending. It is something that is very living and vivid and has the interest of the students. And so it was important to us to keep a topic that had that appeal and that interest also of ours as professors. But then we started finding out, okay, what kind of things are relevant and what kind of topics are up. And Naima is just amazing. She has a network you can't even imagine. The people she knows in the Greater Toronto area. So she started planning company visits, guest speakers, influencers, all of the people that give that extra energy. Because one thing is doing a course during the summer, and obviously students want to go to school and learn stuff, but they also want an extra experience. And I think Naima is super good at finding all these interesting things, what's happening in Toronto, what kind of companies are trending within the field, and she just has the connections to bring us there. So we're focusing on influencers, the different topics that are relevant within social media right now, persuasion, how do you get people to participate in whatever topics are relevant for your company. And then we collaborate with the real life client. Again, thanks to Naima and her great network, she can always find really cool cases that we can work with. So it makes sense, and it becomes bigger than just the books and the reading material and the talking as we would do in classes. So it's a bigger experience than just the ordinary classes that we would do.
Now I also would like to answer Naima. Can you describe the course, how it evolves, and how is the delivery process of it?
Okay. So Alice, the way it went about is that under the leadership of Andrew Ainsworth, who's the Associate Dean at the School of Media Studies, and Larissa, who also works with the School of Media, we all came together and tried to figure out how can we condense this this course, which is regularly done over 14 weeks, into a 2-week, which is actually 10 days worth of work with 6 hours each from 9 to 3. How can we make it a more inspiring experience, engaging experience, and also fulfilling? Because at 6 hours long classes are a bit much, not only for me and Jen, but also for the students. Like, stop already. So first thing was to make sure that we have all the learning outcomes in place in terms of what is it that we're looking for. So we're looking for it to make sure students come out of this course learning how to make a social media strategy, how to deliver to a client, how to apply theories that we learn in class for a beyond class experience for a real life client. So once that's taken care of, we had to make the course more solid by making sure we have guest speakers coming in. So we had one guest speaker each day. They could be from Apple, they could be from Microsoft. They were also from social media influencers, which were really hard to get in. They usually say, oh, do you have an audience of like 500 people? I'm like, no, 45 people. And they're like, okay. But yeah, for the sake of education, you can rope them in, and they were very kind. Mel Huang was one of them who came this summer. So getting those guys to come in every day to break the monotony between me and Jen and Marlene, they were taking care a lot of the aspects of technical issues, and then me more hands-on on the case studies and whatever we're taking care of to make it a holistic experience. So it was a very busy day to start from 9 and finish at 3 and still go beyond it, because the students from Denmark would also be doing activities within the city of Toronto, but at the same time we are trying to work with those learning outcomes, at the same time getting them engaged with the client, with the real life client.
Exciting. And this engagement with the client in the end of the course, how was it?
So what we do is we bring in a client on the second day of class, which is day 2. They come in and give a presentation about a real life scenario and say, hey, this is our company, this is our social media problem, how can you solve it? And then they say bye, and they go away. And then we take it from there. Jen, Marlene, myself, we do the lessons, and then we try to get the students excited about how they can apply those lessons to this client and the problem they have. Within the next 8 days, 8 official business days, the students are able to, kind of put together a social media strategy, and they then present, and the client comes in, and the client's very happy usually. And they were extremely happy with the Flarian this semester, and last semester we had the Pirate Life. Very engaging clients, both of them. They came in and gave like 4 hours of their time listening to students pitch their project and talk about it. They were all dressed in business attire, and you couldn't tell if these were Danish students or Humber students. They were so tight together, and they gave a great presentation, and it was hard for the client to choose. They were just like, how do we choose amongst these so many awesome presentations? So it was intense, but doing both theory and the practical with a really amazing set of students, which within Humber even there were like a variety of students from business and legal and criminal justice, and I'm like, wow, how does that work? And then within the students from Denmark, we also had a lot of diversity, right, Jen?
Yes, yeah. We had, and I think especially here in 2018, we had really students from around the world. I think we had 15 different countries represented in one classroom. So it was not only Denmark and Canada collaborating, but it was the whole world together in one classroom. And the cool thing about it is that people are so interested in making things work. So they put a lot of effort into not only sharing the knowledge that they have, but learning from each other's experiences from the different educations, from the different parts of the world. So they learn even more than what we bring to the table. They learn from each other and the different experiences they have from their educational backgrounds. And I just, when it works, and it really does, it's a beautiful thing, because it just gives an extra energy and a good environment of collaboration and wanting to learn from each other. So,
Jen, how was the feedback of students after the end of the program?
I must say that the feedback that we got was more than what I've ever dreamed of, in terms of how happy the students were with the program, with the overall experience, especially for the students that come from Denmark. They spend a lot of their summer vacation, they spend a lot of their money, they spend a lot of energy on going to Canada. So they have high expectations, and they really want value for the time that they spend there, both in terms of the learning outcomes and the learning experiences. But what I think sometimes surprises people is how social it is, because the students spend these intense 2 weeks together working on the case, the real life client, working on collaborating on studying and reading with the theories and applying them to practice. And then they do a lot of fun stuff together. So they go sightseeing in Toronto, they go to the baseball camp, whatever kind of activity. So it's so intense. They're together 24/7 and spend a lot of time together. So I think it surprises them, and also us, how much extra that gives, that they have this amount of time together. So the evaluations was just over the top. People were really pleased with the program, really pleased with what was presented to them, but the experience more than everything, I think, was what gave that really good feedback also.
Naima was just saying about the end of the course, everybody was together. We wouldn't be able to say who is from Humber or from Aarhus. So what do you think is the impact of people from different countries working together and making a project together?
Yeah, I think because everybody are very keen to make this a success. So everybody participates in the group work, they collaborate, they have that extra learning experience from learning from each other and collaborating on solving the different problems. So the international aspect of things just kind of turns up the volume of the learning experience, in my opinion. And it's something that is just adding extra into to the overall experience. And I know that A lot of the students, both when we had the summer school in 2017 and again in 2018, they have friendships that they continuously, like it's social media, so they keep the contact. They would be going back to Toronto, visiting friends there during the summer. We had students who went back to study a semester at Humber after they'd been at the summer school and all these kind of things. So people get inspired, also in a personal level in terms of, okay, what can I do? What kind of opportunity lies ahead of me in the whole world? So both in terms of friendships and in terms of the educational, like the continuing studies, that people would open their eyes to the world. So it gives a lot more than just these 2 weeks for the ones that wants more.
For sure, and social media helps so much in this case, right? So
Yeah.
it's great. And what about you? How was this experience of work together in distance first and after in person?
I think we were lucky because we got a chance to see each other with that class guest speaking opportunity that she came in my class with. I remember taking a walk down the lake with Jen and showing her around the beautiful Lakeshore campus.
Yes.
We connected, we watched some swans, and we took a nice walk around here. We kept in touch afterwards. I think it's just about being open to opportunities. I think Jen is very open to different opportunities and working with people from different backgrounds, and I felt very welcomed when I was having discussions with her about the course, about where we're planning to, what we're planning to do, and she really pushed me into like, hey, we should get this client, we should get this or whatever. I would run by her and she'd be like, I don't know, it's a long shot, Jen. I don't know if they're going to listen or Facebook is going to do it or not, but eventually it worked out. So in my personal experience and opinion, I think it was an awesome experience. I think each faculty should be able to have this kind of an opportunity to work. You have to be open, that's one thing, to ideas from another person, pretty much like you have to work in collaboration with anybody within your own school or within your own college or institution. So similar to that, you just have to be understanding of the differences and then just let your heart lead, because as teachers, that's what we like to do. We like to see those eyes light up in the class. We just want them to feel happy in what they're doing. And with this kind of course, it's a little bit challenging because you don't know what you're getting,
Yes.
what kind of students are coming your way. So you can only hope and pray and like, yeah, I hope these guys are just as good. And what kind of clients coming? I think this year's client was pretty intense because it was a B2B client. It wasn't really a regular business to consumer. It was like a business to business. So to get the students get in on that kind of mindset of how it's not just a cell phone being sold to you and I, but it's a product that's being sold to an organization, and how do you make that work? So that was quite challenging, and the students, I think, were up for the challenge. I think if you set this pace up, if you're excited, and Jen and I share that excitement, so if you're excited in the class, I think they just you get it too. It's just the energy that you set.
Yes. And Jen, do you also have some suggestions for other faculties that are interested to run the same type of course?
I think, as Naima said, there was a really good connection between us, and it just makes it a lot easier to have that collaboration on Skype with the time difference and on emails back and forth, because it is a lot of project management. It's a lot of planning, and it's a lot of, okay, we have ways of doing things and you have ways of doing things, and how do we find something that is somewhat in between and connects the dots for all parts? So it takes a lot of back and forth and communication, but it was never a problem. It was always, okay, how do we solve this? What's the next step? How do we? So I think that the advice would be to just make sure that you keep the pace up on throughout the year. Like we're now beginning to plan the summer school for the next summer. So throughout the year, you keep that dialogue, you keep the energy high in terms of, okay, what's next to do? What is like all the planning, and there are a lot of logistics. And really lucky for us, we have all the staff at Humber who's also taking like really good care of a lot of the logistics in terms of housing and all of that. So it's a huge collaboration between different like faculty and staff and all of that together. But as long as we keep the energy up and high all the way through the process, it's not a problem. But it takes that energy. We need that energy to do it. Yeah.
I'd like to just add in here that it's not just the faculty, like Jen said, mentioned, it's not just the faculty that has to work together, it's also the staff. And I think we were very lucky, and we are very lucky to have Larissa as well as Amy working on it, as well as the international office with Rebecca and Andrew and everybody's support, and Andrew Ainsworth. Like, everybody is invested in it. So, you know, for example, we need this. We need a bus for this trip at this time, we'd get that. We need a gift for the guest speaker at this time here. It's coordinated, it's done. So I personally felt like, oh wow, this is awesome, because I have to do all of those things on my own in the semester. So this course pretty much spoils me. When I go into the regular semester, I'm like, oh, okay, 14 weeks, okay, it's gonna be slow. So yeah, it actually tires us out, right? And at the end of those 2 weeks, we're like, okay, don't talk to me, just go. But then after 2 days, we're okay with everything.
Yeah, actually, this process is so exciting that I'm pretty sure that everybody's so engaged with it and willing to help, and everybody doing a little piece to make something bigger.
Yeah, the teamwork is awesome with the backing of the awesome Humber staff, and it just makes life so much easier and smooth. It's just like slick, which is what you want. It's a customer experience in the end. Right, student experience is also like customer experience, right? So you have to make sure that everybody has a win-win situation at the end. They learn, that's our win, and they learn something out of it, and that's overall the client's happy. So it just works out.
For me, it's pretty clear that it was an amazing experience.
So
but for you too, actually, I would like to ask how and what is so cool about this partnership?
I get to work with her. I get to work with her and with all these people, and you know, adding another dimension to teaching. It's a challenge, right? Whenever you start something new, you're like, hey, am I up for it? And how do you outdo yourself? So if for the first time we went to Facebook and Google, next time you're not going to repeat that. That's like, nah, you got to do something else.
Yes.
So how do you top that? So you have to come up with something new. Okay, this time we'll go to Shopify and to Microsoft. Okay, now next year, we got to top that up. LinkedIn maybe and something else. So how do you...
Always challenging.
It is challenging, and I think we feed off each other's energy and the energy of Humber. Humber's awesome crew at Global and within the School of Media.
Yeah. Do you have any other comments?
Yeah, I would say that as a professor, it's also really nice to see how courses are run in other universities and colleges around, because we do things in our specific way, but it gives a different perspective when we see, okay, you can also do it like that, or you can have that topic to take up more space within the course. So it's also an inspiration, and it's also a way of learning new things for ourselves. So we keep developing our skills. We keep ourselves updated on not just what is happening within the Danish market and the social media that we are using here, but how is it in Canada? How is it in other places around the world? So for me, it's also been a personal journey of learning the Humber way of approaching things, and the way that Naima is structuring her course. All of that is something that I've used it as an inspiration in my own teaching here in Denmark as well.
And same goes for me. You've added so much in terms of how to make it crisp and clear and clean and to the point, pretty much like our Scandinavian designs that we see around. So I've learned a lot from you as well, and overall from this experience for sure, as a professional, as an academic.
Yes. Do you have any final thoughts?
Final thought is to make sure that there are more programs and more schools who are doing similar things. Social media could be just a start, and we could have so many other courses with so many other partners. And I think Humber has the potential with our faculty as well as with international partners. And it's just like even the Humber students would say, although they stayed here, but they felt like they're traveled. As if in time or something, even though they didn't do nothing, they just came to school. And I wish more Humber students would take up this opportunity for empowering themselves and making those connections. Who knows, these guys are going to make a business one day together. These are partnerships which are worth keeping. I'm still in touch with the students. She's in touch with our students, and it's just amazing. Right?
I got pretty excited. I went to
do
you
this
should
course. It's like, go ahead and sign up.
Do you have any final thoughts?
No, it's more or less the same as Naima was just saying, that for us as a business academy, it just gives value in so many different places. So first of all, it gives a value for the students to be part of this program and have that international experience. It gives value to the faculty, to the people that are participating, but it also gives, I think, value for us to be able to share this story and tell other people that this kind of collaboration can be done. It takes hard work, it takes a lot of dedication, but it also is very rewarding, and it's something that I would definitely say to everybody, that just go ahead, do it. It's really rewarding.
It's worth it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank
it was
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I got really excited about the course.
That's our job, get people excited in the class.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. And for you that is watching this conversation, if you want to join us in the survey that we have on the comments here at the Facebook, we are giving 5 gift cards from Tim Hortons. So you get this chance if you answer the survey. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us too. I hope you had fun. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.